Friday. Thank you for tuning in to This Is Now. We want to begin today with a story, the latest in a story that's really got people upset online.
Yeah, a woman allegedly tried to ride a young humpback whale that beached itself on Oahu's south shore. Now more people are calling for her to face consequences.
Oh my God, dude.
Hey, stop it! Hey! Hey!
This video is from Wednesday afternoon when ocean safety teams tried to guide the calf to deeper waters, but the animal kept beaching itself. At one point near Fort DeRussy Beach, a woman was caught on camera appearing to ride on the whale's back. Now, witnesses tell us this happened after the whale had already stranded itself on the sand and was then pushed back into the water by beachgoers. We're told a complaint was submitted to NOAA law enforcement. Today, NOAA officials used this incident as a chance to reiterate that harassing marine animals is a federal crime. We've reached out for more details about this specific incident and if the woman has been found and cited, but they continue to monitor the situation closely.
It's hard to know whether she didn't hear or didn't care. You know, there's a lot of commotion, but she didn't respond after a lot of prompts to stop. It's hard to punish without the education first because people can plead ignorance and a lot of times there's a lot of people that don't know any better that come to the islands.
Now, harassing a marine mammal is a federal crime punishable by up to 1 year in prison, plus criminal fines and civil penalties exceeding $30,000. If you see any marine animal harassment taking place, you're asked to call NOAA's hotline at 888-256-9840.
20 years in prison. That's the sentence for a Hilo man who nearly killed his ex-girlfriend in front of her children. In a deal with prosecutors, Cyrus Jabalona pleaded guilty to attempted manslaughter and felony abuse for repeatedly stabbing Shaylee Octavio in 2021. She suffered a sliced kidney, liver, and collapsed lungs, and it all happened in front of their 4-year-old daughter and 1-year-old son. Octavio recovered and became an advocate for domestic violence victims.
It does bring some sort of closure, and I feel now that, you know, I'm really able to start that journey and just like rediscovering myself and what my goals are. My children, they're adjusting to everything that happened, but they're healthy and they are happy and they are both, you know, seeking therapy. And it's just something that is going to make us stronger as a family.
Jabalona was out on bail for most of the trial, but after sentencing, he was taken straight to Hawaii Community Correctional Center.
Well, after 4 years on the run, a fugitive described as a master of disguise is now back in Hawaii. After being extradited from California, Tyler Adams arrived at the sheriff's booking station in Kaka'ako. The 51-year-old escaped from the Laumaka Furlough Center in 2019, where he was serving time for theft. Now, the FBI says Adams used more than a dozen aliases and even escaped from the U.S. Border Patrol after his girlfriend was found dead in Tijuana last year. He has not been charged in that case, but is considered a suspect. Adams now faces an escape charge here in Hawaii.
Former President Donald Trump is facing another challenge to his candidacy just a few weeks before the first votes are cast in the 2024 presidential primary contest. Nicole Skanga has more from Washington.
Campaigning in New Hampshire about 3 weeks before that state's primary, presidential hopeful Nikki Haley told voters it's time for change.
Republicans have lost the last 7 out of 8 popular votes for president. That is nothing to be proud of.
Polls show Haley running second behind former President Donald Trump in the Granite State.
We need to hear the truth about Donald Trump.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who's focused his presidential hopes on the state, slammed Haley for saying if elected that she would pardon Trump before any trials for the crimes he's accused of.
She believes in 2 systems of justice. One for all of us and one for the most powerful.
In nearby Maine, voters may not have the choice of picking Trump after the Secretary of State took his name off the ballot, ruling he had violated the Constitution's 14th Amendment against insurrection.
Mr. Trump was aware of the tinder that was laid in a month effort to delegitimize the 2020 election and then chose to light a match.
Trump's campaign issued a response promising an appeal and calling the secretary a virulent leftist and hyperpartisan Biden-supporting Democrat. Colorado's Supreme Court issued a similar ruling last week.
We need from the U.S. Supreme Court guidance about what the federal Constitution says.
Maine and Colorado hold primaries on Super Tuesday, March 5th. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
And into the new year, Honolulu police have announced a new round of DUI checkpoints. The impaired driver checkpoints will run from January 1st all the way through February 29th. Times and locations will not be revealed. HPD hopes the checkpoints will discourage drunk driving. Krisha Garcia knows the impact of drunk driving all too well when her brother was hit and killed by a drunk driver in 2021 while visiting Oahu. Our Jolani Martinez has more.
Police is trying to discourage DUIs by putting offenders in jail. The family of Ronald Garcia is hoping to keep impaired drivers off the roads by sharing their pain.
When I became a single mom, my brother took the place of my kid's father, and he took care of my kids.
Crisea Garcia says she and her brother Ronald were inseparable. But in 2021, while vacationing on Oahu with the mother of his 2 kids, the Texas man was killed by a drunk driver. He was 37. I love you, Daddy. This is one of the last videos Garcia took with his daughter before he died.
The holidays just passed and nothing is the same. He left 2 kids behind without a dad.
The driver charged with Garcia's death is actually an acquaintance, Clarissa Lopez, who joined the couple for drinks that night. Police say Lopez was driving them home on the H1 freeway when she hit a stopped HPD vehicle. The officer, who was helping a stalled motorist, was unhurt. But then Lopez crashed into the center median. Garcia's girlfriend was injured. He died at the scene.
When my sister called me, I screamed. She said that my brother was dead. I screamed and I felt like the world was just coming to an end.
Lopez is out on bail and pleaded not guilty to negligent homicide while intoxicated and causing serious bodily injury while operating a motor vehicle. Her trial is set for January 9th.
I just hope and pray for justice to be served, for this to never happen again. Not just for my brother, for just anyone out there. Just please don't drink and drive. You can kill someone. You'll break an entire family and things will just never be the same.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving says keeping people safe on the roadways is not just the driver's responsibility, but the whole community.
Don't get in a car with somebody who's at the wheel, who's been drinking or using drugs. Take their key away. If you run an establishment like a bar or a restaurant, that means that you or your staff have already been trained at the requirement of the Liquor Commission how to recognize somebody who's impaired and not to serve him or her anymore. The teachers should be educating kids about impaired driving.
Honolulu police plans to set up impaired driver checkpoints at unannounced times and locations from January 1st through February 29. Major Stacen Tanaka of HPD's traffic division says this year they've made over 2,220 DUI arrests. Reporting from Honolulu, Jolani Martinez, Hawaii News Now.
The last year proved to be challenging for many, but there were glimmers of hope and joy. Your Hawaii News Now team takes a look back at the moments that made us. In 2023, the eyes of the world turned to Maui. Together, we watched in horror and heartbreak as raging wildfires disintegrated historic Lahaina town to ashes.
Yeah, you gotta go. We're tangled up.
100 people died, several more still unaccounted for. The lives of survivors forever changed. But from the ashes rose the resilient spirit of Hawaii. Aid from across the islands and far beyond quickly poured in. Recovery will last many years to come as the community looks toward the future of a stronger, renewed Lahaina. While the wildfire dominated local and international headlines and even spurred a presidential visit, 2023 saw other momentous stories. Like the launch of Hokulea on Moananui-a-Kea, which was supposed to be a 4-year Pacific voyage. The crew went to Alaska first for a cultural exchange before the official launch, and shortly after altered their plans to return to Maui in light of the devastation.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Haley Danduran, guilty as charged of murder in the 2nd degree.
In news of the courts, we saw the conclusion of high-profile cases like the life sentences for convicted murderers Haley Danduran and Stephen Brown, who killed Thelma Boinville at a Pupukea rental in 2017.
So therefore, the conviction of Albert Ian Schweitz for murder in the 2nd degree, kidnapping, and sexual assault in the 1st degree is hereby vacated.
In January, Albert Ian Schweitzer, the man who spent 23 years behind bars for the murder of Dana Ireland, was exonerated after new DNA technology proved him and 2 others, including his brother, innocent of the crime, leaving the remaining question: who killed Dana Ireland? In economic news, late 2023 brought a major shakeup in Hawaii's airline industry. Alaska Airlines announced it was buying out Hawaiian in a proposed $1.9 billion deal. They're vowing to keep the iconic Pualani branding, but still, change can be unsettling. Union jobs are protected in the merger, but questions remain over the future of the deal, which is subject to further approval. And Hawaii natives made it big in the world of entertainment, with Kahuku native Iam Tongi winning season 21 of American Idol and Waimanalo native Sasha Colby clinching the crown on the internationally acclaimed RuPaul's Drag Race. And let's not forget, the Bay called the day on January 22nd with the world-famous Eddie Aikau Big Wave Invitational.
Wow. With a big takeoff for Luke Shepardson.
Thousands watched from the shores of Waimea as Honolulu lifeguard Luke Shepardson won the prestigious competition. And rounding out the top stories of 2023, after years of delays and overspending, Phase 1 of the Skyline, formerly and infamously known as the Rail, opened to riders in June.
Will be arriving soon. Track 1.
Grand opening ceremonies were held at the Halava station, and the public was invited to hop on for free for the first few days. Phases 2 and 3 of the roughly $10 billion project are still in the works, but getting Phase 1 up and running is a major step for the troubled public works project. From the joy of celebrations and milestones to the heartaches that brought us together, these are the moments that made us in 2023. Mahalo for trusting your H&N team. I'm Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now. So much has happened in this year, Ashley.
That was a great wrap-up, Dylan.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And thank you to our viewers for sticking with us through this entire year, especially right here on This Is Now.
Yeah.
Let's send you live outside now to New York City.
Yeah, you're looking at Times Square just days before New Year's Eve. The temperature there is a brisk 50 degrees.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad for this time of year. We're going to have a look at your local forecast and what you can expect this weekend after this short break.
Happy Aloha Friday. Here we go with your latest weather. First of all, we've had big waves over the last couple of days. We've got overlapping swells that continue to come through the islands. It looks like it's going to be that way at least through the first week of the new year. So once again, advisory level waves or warning sizes of the waves depending on what shore you're on. Weak front is dissipating. It's kind of stalling out near Hawaii Island. That's bringing some windward showers, but of the light variety, nothing heavy. We're going to have more typical trades as that front passes through. Then in a couple more days, we've got another front that'll be coming through as well. Lighter winds ahead of that front for New Year's Eve. Here's where your surf is looking big. It's on the north-facing shorelines of most islands. You see those 18 to 22 feet. Hawaii Island just under that in advisory level. And on the west side of Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, you see that 10 to 15 feet. So use some caution. Check with the lifeguards if you're going to be going out to those waters. Stay high up on the dry sand. Nice day for today. We've got lighter winds. We'll see some sunshine. We'll see some cloudy periods depending on where you are. But most islands will see a lot of sunshine today. As we take a look at the 7-day forecast, see light winds today. We have a cold front that's going to be coming through on Sunday. Monday, we may get that combination of, as the front goes through, some showers and then gusty winds behind it and sunshine. Those gusty winds could be 15 to 25 with gusts up to 35 miles per hour. And it just stays strong as we go through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Looks like another front may be coming through.
Intense waves in California are capturing attention across the country. The mesmerizing display of Mother Nature's power is creating dangerous ocean conditions and damaging communities along the coast. Jared Hill has more.
Incredible video from the California coast. A rogue wave crashing over the seawall in Ventura, swallowing a truck, sending 8 people to the hospital.
I'm kind of just shaking. I'm just trying to hold on to positive thoughts.
From Montecito.
It is really big and supposedly getting bigger.
To the Bay Area, waves as high as 40 feet are battering the west coast.
These are epic surf conditions that we're looking at. We've got high swells. We've got waves coming in directions we're not used to them coming.
Evacuation orders have been issued for several communities as the surf surges past the beach and near homes, sending water pooling into neighborhoods.
It's a pure state of panic, to be honest, as far as the community goes, because you know there's plenty out there that are not prepared.
The waves appealing for some, but from officials and frequent beachgoers, a warning.
I would advise staying within your limits and probably not getting in the water. You're on the beach, remove anything underneath your house and consider getting some plywood and battening the hatches.
But not everyone is heeding that warning. Multiple people have had to be rescued, including a state park lifeguard. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, it's common for people to search the internet for answers to health questions that they may have. And if you're curious about what people searched for the most this year, well, Google has an answer for that too. They just released the top trending health-related questions that were searched in the U.S. from 2023 January to November. Turns out it's strep throat. The top search, how long is strep contagious? That was followed by how contagious is strep throat? Other topics include how to lower cholesterol and what helps bloating. Google says the questions were ones that saw high spikes in traffic over the period compared to the previous year.
Lots of sports happening this week. Here to break it all down is Kyle Chinen.
What's up, Davis?
Kyle, let's talk volleyball. First practice was yesterday, right?
Yep, first official season practice for the Rainbow Warriors men's volleyball team. Lots of high expectations, as always, when it comes to this team. They start up again. They play on Wednesday to open the season at home against Loyola Chicago. And this is going to be the first year since 2021, Davis, that they are not unveiling a championship banner on opening night.
Wow.
So we talked to the players, some of the players, talked to Coach Wade. And this is just kind of added motivation. They kind of knew what was left on the table last season, making it all the way back to the championship match to fall to UCLA over in Virginia. So this team is coming in with a little bit more of an edge, a little bit more of a hunger. We'll kind of have to wait and see for Wednesday what Charlie's first lineup will be. But I will say they told me that they took a trip to Japan this offseason. They took a trip to California to get some scrimmages in and some matches. And that was kind of a real asset for them to see these different lineups in game-like scenarios against opposition. So they're not rebuilding, as it were. They're reloading, and the system, the train will chug along under head coach Charlie Wade going into 2024.
Yeah, lots of good players on that team. And another good player that we have to talk about that was news this week, Braden Shager, is back with the Bows.
Yeah, kind of the biggest sports story of the week. The news broke Sunday, really Saturday night going into Sunday, that he would be returning. He's removing his name from the transfer portal and coming back to UH, and it kind of split the fandom when he goes to opinions on that. But I got to talk to Braden earlier this week about the decision, and he was kind of talking about, a lot of people in his head kind of pulling him in different directions, but really if it were up to him, he would have stayed, he would have finished out. He has 1 year remaining of eligibility, and he really came along and came into his own late into the season, helping the Bows win 3 out of the last 4, and he statistically stayed within the top echelon of college quarterbacks in the nation all season long. So another key asset returning to the Bows, which we thought we would kind of have to start from square one again going into 2024 with Timmy Chang.
All right, well, lots of exciting stuff happening in the sports world. Look out for the latest reports from Kyle, or check out our podcast, HNN Overtime, for the latest sports news.
Oh, yeah.
In today's good news now, we head to Utah for a love story that's 75 years in the making. Andrew Adams introduces us to a couple whose love surpassed the test of time.
We had so much snow that winter.
It's not just Christmas that comes around like clockwork.
Cousins and family reunions.
So does the story of Karma and Neil.
I don't know what attracted me to him.
The Fabrizios met nearly 90 years ago, when they were just children in small-town Utah.
And this were in front of the store.
My father had the store.
And by the time they turned 19,
we decided we were going to elope.
They knew the time was right.
So we set the date for December the 18th, and we were married in Provo.
It didn't matter the obstacles then.
Well, my parents were against this marriage.
Nor did it matter the distance during Neil's military service.
And he joined the Air Force.
Their marriage endured as they raised 6 children.
I just loved her so much that I wouldn't, nothing could have changed it.
Neil still feels the same way this year as they now celebrate 75 years together.
I still can't believe it.
No.
I wonder, was I ever single?
Even today, the couple has their days.
Like when you go to Smith's and you lose him and you have to page him and wonder where he's at.
That just happened today.
But in an era when it seems marriages are lucky to last 75 months, let alone 75 years.
Because it is crazy out there,
The Fabrizios are living proof.
You don't give up.
That love can stand the test of time.
You can work problems out if you're patient enough.
Patience is key. What a beautiful love story. Hey guys, Happy New Year. This is our final This Is Now of 2023. Like we said, thank you so much for sticking with us. We are clearly in the mood here. Let's take you to New York City. Today, there was the famed confetti test. That's right, they have to test the confetti. And it's not as easy as just throwing paper in the air. I've heard and read that they have to fluff the confetti before they throw it out the window. And also, they have to start about a minute before actually midnight. There's so much updraft there in the city. And also, one more quick thing, if you submitted a wish on their digital wishing wall before December 28th, your wish will be printed and added to that confetti. I just love New Year's Eve. It's so much fun. It's
Times Square confetti thrower is your dream gig, right?
It is. We were just talking about this yesterday. But there's also another dream gig in Key West, Florida.
Right, so check this out. So New York has the ball drop. Well, in Key West, they have the red shoe drop. That's right, a giant red high heel. This year, a new female impersonator. What's his name? Christopher Peterson. He's going to be in the heel, overseeing all the festivities. It's good. There he is.
I love it. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you all so much. We hope you have a wonderful start to your 2024.